My brain's splitting off in so many different directions. My brain's splitting off in so many different. My brain's splitting off in so many different directions that no one has the answers to. My dad was a shrink. Certain things upset me. And my dad was a shrink. Certain things upset me. And my dad was a shrink. Certain things upset me. What's the furthest star, and then what's beyond the furthest star? What's the furthest star, and then what's beyond the furthest star? What's the furthest star, and then what's beyond the furthest star? Questions that no one has the answers to.
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, and we're here, Gary. We finally made it. The arc that you've been telling me about from the beginning. X-Statix versus the Avengers.
Yep. My favorite arc in this. Also, if I ever decide to actually invest and buy original art from this comic run, which I've thought about doing many times, I would love to get it from this run. This cover is my favorite cover they've done in the series. Mm-hmm. I love the way that Mike Allred draws the Avengers.
Yeah, all really good.
They're all classic. It's all the very, very old school costumes. This happens in continuity. Basically, I'm sure that the Avengers don't really mention it, but there's nothing to suggest this is an alternate reality or whatever. But it's just really cool to do the 70s version of the Avengers. And I think that this book is very funny. Letting him play with those toys and contrast this team, against each other, it provides a lot of laughs.
Yeah, these are all very funny versions of the Avengers that we know and love. Have later comics will be funny. But this feels like a very early representation of these people you can acknowledge how weirdly stuffy Captain America is and how just bonkers it would be to hang out with Thor at any time when he's doing the Verily stuff. When
you put him next to the Anarchist
exactly.
or Dead Girl, it's very weird.
This is also going to get into some of the racial stuff with Anarchist that we've talked about throughout the series that I find really, really interesting, because it's Tyke using that a little bit against Captain America, and I find that it's all just you said it before, and I really there's got to be some sort of essay out there, somebody has to have written the essay about this because I would love to read it to be what are we actually seeing in this? So
I want a perspective on it, because to me it feels very brave, because the takeaway I get from it is that Anarchist is aware of that and he's kind of bullshitting.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't want to say that.
Nope.
I don't know. Even against a fictional character, I don't want to say that. I don't know if that's true.
You say you're a Kanye fan, but you won't tell me what's in Paris, huh? Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not saying I'm a Kanye fan. But I am saying I can't think of something that rhymes with Kanye fan. This also this is just fucking goofy. This gets goofier as it goes.
Yeah.
And part of it is he plays the Avengers not necessarily for comedy. He plays them kind of straight and just does the contrast. The Avengers are funny, but this could have just been in a Roy Thomas 70s Avengers story.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
If this wasn't X-Statix,
Yeah.
It's a knockoff of Avengers versus Defenders, which is a famous story from the 70s or 80s that I've never read, but had a very similar kind of narrative structure to it. And we should get into it because there's lots to talk about. And,
so you mentioned the cover, but it's a classic, X versus Y kind of cover of the two teams on each side, the team leaders being more prominently featured, and as you go down to the list of popularity, they get smaller, facing off against each other. Some just fun stuff. This is a really good cover, and we start at a press conference for X-Statix, and it's just Guy and not Vertigo, Venus. Venus. And they're basically saying the other team is off in Russia, trying to recruit new teammates, and new owners, excuse me, because they need funding to do this whole thing. And the press asks what happened to Spike, and Guy is we're going to do a completely private investigation about that and get back to you. And it's revealed that Captain America is watching this on the TV.
Yeah, and does not like this, obviously. Them talking all the fame and everything, and them talking about we're going to find somebody very rich. We're talking to different Russian oligarchs, about this. And they mentioned in the interview, like, do you have a reaction to the Avengers criticism of X-Statix, where Captain America did an interview and he suggested you were irresponsible. Captain America is watching this with interest because this is all part of his plan. And he specifically says, like, Dupe could be a terrorist target. It's possible that Dupe is so powerful he should not be in the hand of a bunch of celebrity mutants.
Yep.
And Guy Smith just kind of like brushes this off. I assure you we have no intention of letting Dupe get in enemy hands. We cut over to Moscow where the rest of the team has lost Dupe.
Whoops.
Little comedy wipe. I love this Moscow, this like Tetris.
Yep.
Background Moscow, like very classic.
But like, but one of the buildings looks like it has lasers shot through it. Like that's really funny to me. Like it's just the normal, like, Moscow Kremlin looking stuff over there, and then like a hole in it. So they were like trying to basically meet with these oligarchs, and everything just blew up. Russian terrorists came out, grabbed Dupe, and have transformed him into what looks like a fucking like Sauron's eye, essentially, that shoots lasers. I mean, it's very cool. Like I love this because like they're like trying to hide out from this thing because they can't approach it directly.
It's very Nightmare of Mensis.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I did a much more on brand reference. Thank you, Gary.
No problem. They're talking about it and they're like, this is really embarrassing. We lost Dupe. Let's hope nobody's watching this at home. And we cut over to Captain America,
who is
watching and seeing all this.
Totally watching from home. And on the next page, we see that Dupe has been rigged up in this tower. His brain is hovering above his body. He looks kind of totally out of it when this green laser shoots out at the team and blasts them. And it's very cool. I got to think this is very cool.
It's very fucking weird. Like they're turning his brain into a super weapon. They're like, okay, Venus, teleport us up there. And it doesn't work. His energy interferes with the teleportation and just zaps them all again.
Yep.
Hurts them a bunch. There's a great little bit of with Vivisector where he's, and he says like, oh, we don't actually know if, Dupe is being manipulated by the Russians or vice versa. Looking him up there like some strange savage green god. It's our come at last, tended to by devoted worshippers. And they get zapped again. He's like, oh, sorry, green one for offending thee. Really nice little bit. And they're just trying to figure it out. Like they're saying like Dupe has been with X-Statix for longer than us, but we don't even know what Dupe is.
Yeah.
We don't know if it was born. We don't know, if it's a he, she, or they. We don't know what its powers are. We don't know what Dupe is.
Yeah. Is it even a mutant, right? Like is he a mutant or a mutation? Like what is that thing? And Tyke says, or Guy says, like, we're going to need some outside help for this one. And Tyke asks, like, who are we even going to go ask? Like, we're X-Statix. And of course, it is the Avengers. And we get this great splash screen of all of our classic Avengers. We have Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Ant-Man.
Yeah. And the name of this arc, which is The Good and the Famous, which I really like.
Yep.
You have the Quick and the Dead. You have the Good, the Avengers, and the Famous. X-Statix.
I really like the Iron Man face mask on this because the mouth doesn't look like a mouth; it just looks like a mustache. It looks like it looks like a Tom Selleck mustache to me for some reason. That's very good.
Great design. That one. They're arguing with him, and you get what you would expect here. The anarchist is very against this. Like he's paranoid. That's been part of his character arc and superstitious, and you have Thor just being like, what doth thou protest, mortal? Just doing 70s Thor stuff in the Thor font, which is super fun. And basically Guy sells it to him, just saying like, hey, Dupe knows our brain. He knows us. I think that if you're with us, it might give us the edge.
Yeah.
Captain America's like, how did you lose Dupe in the first place? Like, it was very irresponsible. And Tyke says like, oh yeah, like maybe you planned this. Like I've been reading in the Trib, you talk about Dupe falling into the wrong hands and it immediately happens. Is this a big coincidence or what? You think Tyke is just being paranoid, but this ends up turning out to be true.
Yeah.
This was part of Captain America's plan.
And of course, Captain America denies this and he's like, that's either very stupid or a very nasty accusation. And there's I love the "dost thou know to whom thou speaks" kind of stuff from Thor. Like, you know who you're talking to right now, right? And this is enough to piss Captain America off to the point where he's going to leave, and just tells them like, "Hey, get out of here! Like, you don't need us, we don't need you." But Iron Man takes this time to step it up and says, like, "Hey,
so much.
Oh yeah, we're gonna issue the ultimate sanction." And Hawkeye is like, "It's like, yeah, we're gonna evacuate Moscow, allow us to drop a tactical nuclear weapon on Dupe. Like, we're gonna blow up. The Russian government is going to allow us to blow up Moscow for Dupe."
Yeah, if it's not cleared up within 24 hours, the ultimate sanction. And then, we follow the Avengers instead of X-Statix, which you don't expect, and they're just bullshitting.
Yeah.
Like, and I love this version of Hawkeye. He's just like really into it. Like, that was awesome. Ultimate sanction. Get the fuck out of here. How do they believe that? And he's just this is very cute. Iron Man's like, "I put the squeeze on him, a technique I learned in the corporate boardroom." And Hawkeye goes, "And I caught the ball and ran with it. Technique I picked up on the block." He's got this big shit-eating grin on his face. It's just like very silly.
It's really funny to me.
We get basically the plan here from the Avengers is that they are going to they want to destroy the Dupe.
Yeah.
They're like, if we can get close without fighting X-Statix, we might be able to destroy Dupe without shedding any blood.
Just an aside
their mission.
to the listeners, I've got 2 dogs in here, and one of them is kind of feeling kind of sick. Like, I gave her medicine, but she's like doing that weird dog gagging noise, and I'm trying to edit out as much as possible. So if I fail and you hear some like weird gagging noise, it's not Gary, which I know would be your first thought. It's not me. It's poor Rosie, who has been like hiccuping or something all day. So
yeah.
Also, don't perv on my dog hiccuping if you can hear it. Like, we don't need that either.
I'm looking forward to making a bunch of weird throat noises and using that dog as a cover up.
Perfect. It's what I do with my farts.
Yep. Pocky keeps beefing and running.
Oof.
Like I'll pet him, and like if I startle him, like he'll beef and run. It's no good.
Not fun. Not good.
Really intense. So.
We jump over to the X-Statix, and it's just Tyke and Guy arguing basically. And like, it's Guy trying to say like, we're just asking for help, and Tyke's like, this was all set up. Like, I guarantee you that this was all set up. And of course, like, nobody really believes this at all.
Mm-hmm. He specifically says it's like Dracula, like you have to invite him in, and then he bites the hell out of your neck. He's just being silly and shit, but he's right.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically say like, we have to do this. We have to get whatever help because Dupe is our oldest surviving member. Like, he's a team member. We cut over to the Russian terrorists who have him. Dupe is saying something, but they can't understand him. They're trying to use him as a weapon against capitalism by killing mutants. And they basically say like, we're going to do this. Superheroes are as American as cartoon mice and mass-produced food.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of the imperialist agenda. Commerce follows the spandex. As the Avengers and X-Statix are infiltrating this thing. I love this action scene. I love Iron Man crashing in and Ant-Man like climbing onto this dude's face.
Very funny. If you just had a little tiny Ant-Man on your face, you'd freak the fuck out, man. It'd be the worst thing ever.
Man, Ant-Man's scary as hell.
I know. Do not like. Not even Paul Rudd can make that dude not scary. Like, Paul Rudd, still very terrifying.
Charming but scary.
Yeah. And then it's the full Avengers team coming in. Like, we have like a cool action shot, and then Thor hits Dupe's brain with a hammer.
Captain America is blocking the laser, and Thor, he's like, I don't know how much I can handle this. Thou need not, Captain. Mjolnir will tickle the frontal lobes. Which is probably the only time Thor's ever said Mjolnir will tickle the frontal lobes.
Really dig it.
While throwing his hammer at a brain. He hits the brain, the hammer gets stuck, and X-Statix shows up. And also starts fighting the Russians, but also kind of half fighting the Avengers.
Yeah. Or at least like back talking them, if not necessarily fighting just yet. Like, and of course, Guy is like, hey, like, we've got this now. Like, they kind of clear up the Russians, and Guy's like, all right, you can leave. And Captain America's like, no, you invited us in. Like, this is our problem now too. And of course, Tyke is like, see, I told you, I said the thing about the invite. They're Draculas.
Yeah. Vivisector and Hawkeye are kind of hitting on each other at this point. We'll find out later Hawkeye is just using him. Tyke tries to push Captain America out of the way, and Captain America socks him. And again, that's kind of like Mexican standoff, where they kind of explain this. The guy says, Captain America, that interview gave, was that a coincidence? And he goes, there's no such thing. We had word that a United States scientist who worked on the Dupe project sold classified information to the Russians. Towards the end of the Cold War, Dupe was built. And
of course, X-Statix is surprised, like, the Dupe project, like, built the Cold War? Like, they don't know anything about this, dude.
Yeah. And Iron Man says, you don't think the Berlin Wall fell all by itself, did you? There were other, stranger, greener forces at work. So, like, Forrest Gumping Dupe into all the major history events of the world.
Perfect.
Like, just imagining him, like, assassinating Kennedy.
Yeah. Why do you think we have that video? Dupe was there.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So this is very good. And while they're arguing about this, Dupe says something, says, hey, there's a hammer in my brain. Thor just, pulls it out, just summons it back, doesn't do it gently enough. And this causes Dupe's brain to explode.
Can we just real quick talk about the fact that Hawkeye has one of his little boxing glove arrows pointed at everybody during all of this? Like, just love goofy Hawkeye, man. That's so good.
Very 70s. Like, he stopped doing that shit at some point.
In
addition to, like, no longer wearing that uniform. And it's a bummer because the 70s outfits are great.
Yep. Dupe explodes. Big, huge page, boom. And his parts of his brain, 5 different parts of his brain, like Infinity Stones, are scattered across the world. One is in a fishing village in Thailand. One is on a American ghost ship. One is in France. One is in the indifferent waste of the far north, and one is in a sub-Saharan African state.
The final one is, so there are 6 of them. The final one is in Asgard.
Yeah. Where
it just slides up to Loki.
Yeah.
Like in The Simpsons, where that liver falls out and comes up to Barney's foot. And he's like, how'd you get out? And he like gets under his shirt. This Loki with this glowing piece of brain just goes, whoosh, and just be like, yes. I think is very funny.
Extremely good. And the X-Statix are having a meeting of like, hey, we have to go collect all of these pieces of the brain because he's got basically like 3 days of backup brain before it's going to explode. And the Avengers are also looking for this. So like we this is like a very serious mission that we have to go on.
Yeah. This is their structure. We go over to the Avengers and they're saying like, hey, this is very different. Like when we fought the Defenders, it was a less cynical age. Like we knew we had the same principles. We were all good guys. The X-Statix are different. These are symbols of a less forgiving, more ironic time. And they take nothing seriously. Again, just really playing up this contrast. And he does the Avengers Assemble, where we're going to have a series of like kind of little short stories with the Avengers facing off against each other or against the X-Statix, trying to get individual pieces of the brain. And I am here for it.
The Avengers Assemble panel, like, it's not just him saying it. It's like Scarlet Witch and Ant-Man have both of their arms up in the air. Like it's like like somebody dropped the beat and like everybody is fucking partying in this panel, and I love it.
Everybody's doing they just want a Final Fantasy battle.
Yeah, exactly.
Super funny.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's going to give us again like just covers I really love of the next one with preview of Tyke Alucard trying to fight Captain America with a pickaxe.
Perfect. Like
he's on the Dark Souls randomizer or something. Like, so ridiculous.
This is good. This was like super good. You had told me to expect this, and you had talked so glowingly about it that I assumed that it was going to be good, and it was better than that. Like I love goofy Iron Man and Hawkeye telling lies. Captain America being a little nefarious, and this is very good. It's just this is good stuff. I like it. It's good. It's good funny book stuff, right? Like it's just fun.
Yeah. And X-Statix has always been a comic that rides that line pretty consistently. Like there have always been jokes in this book. And the trick, X-Statix's _trick has always been being a funny book that still takes its characters seriously. And this is kind of the apotheosis of this, where like the characterization that we've all built up, Guy Smith's complex of thinking that he could be more and be a hero, Tyke's weird kind of mixed up feelings about fame and race, Vivisector's kind of like starfucker chasing tendencies, all these things kind of pay off here when contrasted with, Marvel's premier team.
Yeah.
Here. So it's a very clever use of the toy box, I think.
Yeah. A lot of fun. And again, just, good jokes. I love jokes.
Yep. Me too. And there are more jokes to come.
If you love jokes, you can go to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. Give us some money.
My brother and me. And
I
don't even like that show. I just was pulling out a funny podcast. You should go to patreon.com/duckfeedtv.
Yes, that's the place to go to. And you get jokes and more podcasts and jokes on the Slack channel and jokes in your email, probably. I think Cole does email stuff from time to time. It's like you get all kinds of jokes.
No, because there's no jokes in the emails. But I can work on them. Can you make that happen?
Can you really step it up, Greer? You've been phoning the jokes in lately. Yeah. You need to get it. Get it going. What's wrong with you, man? You slipping?
There's I don't think that you're a Tim and Eric dude, but there's a good episode of that where Eric goes up to Tim and he's like, "Hey, your comedy lately has been really good. I know mine's been slipping, so I got you this." And it's a Robin Williams, and it's played by Robin Williams impersonators before he suicided. So it was funnier, but he just runs around basically like the genie in Aladdin, and the whole episode they treat it like a dog. Like, get down from the couch, and he's just like, just doing the Robin Williams shtick.
Yeah,
as a comedy partner, it is very good.
That's a lot. I feel like I've seen that before. Like, I've definitely seen the Robin Williams kind of skewer there because the dude was intense.
So thanks everybody. We will be back next episode.
Yeah. See you later.